Well, I am a few minutes late this morning, but not as late as I thought I was going to be, because just a few uh, minutes ago, we're still stuck on the Parkway, uh, trying to get to the dystopian shopping center here in Sacramento, and but anyway, I had to drive around to find a shady place to park uh, because it's going to be a very hot day today, and I'll better take my sunglasses off. Anyway, it's Saturday morning cartoons, and as usual, I'm the only thing that's animated this morning. Yesterday, I was surprised at the reaction to yesterday's talk because of so many people that were unfamiliar with Crowley's Magic Without Tears. And I knew it was been out of print for many years, and that it was relatively rare. But I didn't really realize how rare it was for, because 30 years ago it seemed like everybody had a copy of it. But anyway, the reaction to yesterday's little reading, Crowley's answer to a letter asking him if he believed in God, and I started to think that Magic Without Tears was actually, or my book, Ask Babylon, is a poor, pitiful version, unworthy version of Lon's Magic Without Tears, because in Ask Babylon I always include the question too, which sadly Crowley did not, so we're left to speculate exactly what the question was. But I found one today on my Kindle version of Magic Without Tears, which I'm sure that you can find if you look around, the Kindle version. And I brought it with me. If it I've got an old Amazon Kindle thing here, and the very next chapter to the one that I read yesterday is a very short little chapter. I'm going to share it with you today for Saturday morning cartoons. It's chapter 31, called Religion. Is Thelema a new religion? Now, when people ask me if magic and Thelema and things like that's a religion, I'm hard pressed, because if I were to speak truthfully from my point of view, it's easy for me to say no, Thelema is not a religion, especially when the definition of the term religion means what it means to most people. Okay, so my definition of religion might be completely different than what most people think of when they hear the word religion, and what they're thinking of when they ask me, is Thelema a religion? So it's almost like I have to say, well, I'm reading your mind, and I know what you mean by the word religion, and no, Thelema is not a religion. It's not a belief system. Techniques of magic operate as if the magician is at least temporarily locked in to the belief in the reality of angels, spirits, demons, and things like that. But an adult magician doesn't take it to the level of objectifying it in the same way as, say, evangelical Christian would think of in the way that they think of the body. The ascended body of Jesus is up in clouds somewhere that you could actually fly to or something like that. So, anyway, that's why when people ask me what I'm into on the, say somebody sitting next to me on the airplane, and the subject turns to God, and they ask what religion I am. It's really easy and truthful from their point of view. It's really kind and compassionate of me to just simply, before I change the subject, say, I'm an atheist. Because from what most people think of as their definition of God, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in that kind of God. But anyway, I'm rambling on because I've just been driving in my unreliable car here. Thank you, car, for being reliable as you are. Here it is, chapter 33. Religion. Is Thelema a new religion? Kara Soror. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And he actually quotes her question here. Would you describe your system as a new religion? Unquote. A pertinent question. You doubtlessly suppose. I love Crowley. A pertinent question, you doubtlessly suppose. Whether it may happen to mean anything is, well, is what we must try to make clear. True. It's a slogan of AA, the method of science, the aim of religion. And here the word aim and the context help the definition. It must mean the attainment of knowledge and power in spiritual matters, or words to that effect. As soon as one selects a phrase, one starts to kick holes in it. Yet we both know perfectly well all the time what we do mean. But this is certainly not the sense of the word in your question. It may clear our minds, as has so often happened, if we examine it through the lens of dear old Skeat, and that's Skeat, and I think is William Skeat, which was whatever the technical word is, an expert at the meaning and the source, the history and the evolution of words, language. Where did this word come from? Religion, he says, Latin, religio, piety, collection or paying attention to So that's it. Religion, he says. It's Latin, religio, piety, collection or paying attention to. Religions, as opposed to negligence, neglecting, the attitude of Galileo. I'm not sure. But it also implies a binding together, i.e., of ideas. In fact, a body of doctrine. Not a bad expression. A religion, then, is more or less coherent and consistent set of beliefs, with precepts and prohibitions therefrom deducible. But then there's the sense in which Fraser, that's Fraser of the Golden Bough, Fraser, I'm assuming, that Fraser and I often use the word as in opposition to science or magic. Here the point is that religious people attribute phenomena to the will of some postulated being or beings, placable and movable by virtue of sacrifice, devotion, or appeal. Against such, the scientific or magical mind believes in the laws of nature, asserts, quote, if A, then B. If you do so and so, the result will be so and so, aloof from arbitrary interference. Joshua is alleged, made the sun stand still by supplication, and Hezekiah, in the same way, caused it to go back upon the dial of Ahaz. Willett did it by putting the clock back and getting an act of parliament to confirm his lunacy. I think that was an early form of daylight savings time, which we hate to this day. I do anyway, and Constance does. Anyway, I digress. Petruchio, too, quote, it shall be what o'clock I say it is, unquote. Try using that the next time you're late to court. The last two came close to the magical method, at least to that branch of it which consists of fooling all the people all the time. But such an operation, if true magic were employed, would be beyond the power of any magician of my acquaintance, for it would mess up the solar system completely. You remember how this happened? And what came of it in a rather clever short story by H.G. Wells. Is that the day the earth stood still? For true magic means, quote, to employ one set of natural forces at the mechanical advantage against another set, unquote. Now, I'm going to say that again because it is such a cool one-liner definition of the function of magic. Here it is. To employ one set of natural forces at mechanical advantage as against another set. I quote as closely as memory serves Thomas Henry Huxley when he explains that when he lifts his water jug or his elbow, he does not defy the law of gravitation. On the contrary, he uses that law, its equations, to form part of the system by which he lifts the jug without spilling the water. To sum up, our system is a religion just so far as a religion means an enthusiastic putting together of a series of doctrines, no one of which must in any way clash with science or magic. I call it a new religion, then, if it so please you, or you call it a new religion, then, if it so please your gracious majesty. But I confess that I fail to see what you will have gained by doing so, and I feel bound to add that you might easily cause a great deal of misunderstanding and work a rather stupid kind of mischief. The word does not occur in the book of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Fraternally 666. Now, all that being said, I'm going to turn off my thing there. All that being said, recall what I just said a moment ago about what most people think when they hear the word religion, and what most people associate with the position in a society of religious institutions, religious bodies, charitable organizations, philosophical groups. What most people think of when they hear the word church or religion is often what dictates what the law considers the importance and the functions and the rights and the privileges of groups of people like that. So just like it's easy for me to change the conversation and tell the person sitting next to me on the plane that I'm an atheist, it does not, you're being unfair to yourself and your particular philosophical group you belong to, or your spiritual group that you belong to misdirect somebody by saying your organization is not a church. They're not asking you, let's say for tax purposes, or for the privileges of locating your meeting house and things like that. Yes, you're a church, and what your philosophy is, according to their definition, in their mind, it is a religion. So when, let's just theoretically, if a judge is asking you, "Oh, sir, is your group a religion, and are you a church?" Well, the judge's point of view of what that is, and the law's point of view of what that is, yes, you are. It is a religion. This is a church. Okay. But the time to argue the finer points of what that means in a spiritual dimension of it is to invite a debate that is necessary in that particular situation. At least that's my Saturday morning cartoon point of view. So, until tomorrow for Sunday school, we can argue about church. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Hey, be good to yourself, everyone. Be good to each other.